Yeah, but I guess I don't want to just assume all you're doing is laughing at them. I'm like, maybe they have some like
No, that's pretty much it.
noble goal here or something.
Well, look, I mean, sometimes we get mad at him. Like when he says,
Oh, there's the second
he,
thing you, okay.
yeah. So there's a bit of like that going on.
Got some real variety here.
Yeah.
Well, they got mad at me today because they asked me if I would lie to Nazis,
Yeah.
and I said I wouldn't lie. What's wrong with not
What?
lying?
Under any circumstances?
The circumstance in which they would be dragged out of his house and shot, that's the circumstance he wouldn't lie to save the Nazis.
If
And
the
then, yeah,
Nazis would be dragged out of his house?
no, the
Or if
Jews.
he's hiding Jews and
Yeah,
the
the Jews
Nazi
are
comes to his house?
he cannot tell a lie. You see, it's against his, principles or something.
Wait, is that really fair though? Is not under any circumstance can you tell a lie?
He said, listen, he said if
There's no way he believes that because that would be like insane. He'd be saying you don't lie if you're hiding like the billion Jews in your house. Like,
Welcome to the fan club.
Obviously, he's not going to
That's
say
how I
something like that,
answered.
right?
He did say that.
No, he doesn't. Do you, John? Do you say that?
Yeah, I did say
You're
that.
in. You're sucked
Wait.
in, aren't you?
Just to be clear, if you are hiding, look, let's just make it this simple. If you lie, then there's infinite well-being. If you don't lie, then there's infinite suffering. What do you do?
Well, I reject the premise of your consequences.
Oh no.
What is when you say premise of my consequences? What is a premise of a consequence?
Because you outline the results of a lying, and I don't necessarily believe that what you prescribed is going to come to pass in the manner that you described it. Just because you characterize something, by fabricating some type of scenario doesn't mean that it's an objective reality.
Yeah, John doesn't know what a thought experiment is. So
well, I do know what a thought experiment is.
Okay, in the thought experiment, it's been stipulated.
I would reject that thought experiment.
Reject history too, right? That never happened.
I feel like there's got to be some unfairness to John here. There's no way he's actually saying this.
That's why we're fans of John Lee, because
wait, I want to try to be
readily bites bullets, right?
Okay, I want to try to be maybe unreasonably fair to him though. Like,
is this being recorded by someone?
He's like ready to get triggered.
It sounds like tell me if I'm wrong.
At the bits.
Tell me if I don't understand you correctly, John. But it sounds like you're saying that there's something wrong about the hypothetical, so you wouldn't want to answer it. Like it's not real or it's not objective. It sounded like you were saying there's different problems with it.
No, because for example, like if I'm at the door, and the Nazis are there, and I'm actually hiding, on Jews, let's say, right? And so these are the real hypothetical scenario, let's say, right? So when you examine that, now I'm confronted with the situation. I could tell them, I could lie, right? And then there are certain potential consequences for that, right? Or I tell them, the truth in a way that I best can, and there are consequences for that. But if it's such the case that I tell the truth, and let's just say they're rounding them up, right? And they arrest them, let's say, right? And they're taking them off. If it is such the case that through my telling the truth that somehow they come into a situation where they're ambushed and then these Jews are set free or something like that, right? I'm not saying that this will happen, but what I am saying is that I don't pretend to know that certain actions will lead to certain consequences in my life.
Bro, it's just stipulated in the thought experiment, bro. Right? If you're thinking about all these other variables, then you're not even focusing on what the thought experiment is meant to isolate.
No, that's what I'm saying though. Like the thought experiment is not in a real scenario, and so. For example,
it's a thought experiment, bro. It's a thought experiment.
Can I ask about that part, John? when you say it's not a real scenario, I'm not telling you that there actually is like a button that's gonna cause infinite suffering. I'm just asking, say that you have a situation where there's a button and sorry, I'm fucking shivering here. It's like so cold in this house. So you have a button, and if you press it, it's going to cause infinite suffering. Or sorry, oh no, it's got to be about lying, right? So yeah, if you lie, then there's infinite well-being, and if you don't lie, then there's infinite suffering. And I'm just asking, in that situation, all else held constant, would you lie or not?
Yeah, I mean, I just would reject the choices involved in your hypothetical. I mean, it's kind of like
Can I
saying
say
pigs
something to
can't
that?
fly, you know?
I'm interested why you'd reject it, because to me it doesn't look like there's a problem with it, but I'm open to the idea that maybe somehow there is. So what kind of problem are you saying there is? Like, do you think the hypothetical is
The
contradictory or
infinite
something?
well-being by lying, that type of stuff.
Yeah,
I mean,
and
well,
what
the
is it
wages of
that's
sin is death, right?
um but are you saying that there's some kind of problem with the hypothetical? Like, are you saying that it doesn't make sense or something?
No, because what I'm supposing, I mean, what I'm considering, right, is contradictory to my worldview. And
Okay,
so
wait.
that's like saying
Yeah,
if
that.
God were the devil, and then you make some scenario up like that,
So
then
there's
I would.
you think yeah, that's fair, right? So I think I agree about the kind of thing you're saying. So if I were to ask you some kind of question, but in that question I slip in something that's contradictory or that doesn't make sense or whatever,
Yeah, it
then it
becomes
would be
sort of like
fair.
a loaded question type of situation.
Well, loaded question is where I assume something that
Right.
you don't assume, right?
Right.
But that's
Exactly.
that. Yeah. Well,
So in
loading is.
hypothetical situations,
Yeah, but one sec.
they are
Let me just
thought
finish
experiments.
one sec. I was just clarifying that there's a difference between loading a question, which is putting in an assumption the other guy doesn't agree with, and asking just like an incoherent question, like one with a contradiction or something.
Yeah, I'm just saying
So,
that
yeah.
I'm not saying the question's loaded, right? But the hypothetical, the thought experiment that's conducted, there are certain assumptions, right?
Mm-hmm.
That are not necessarily.
Isaac, do you mind if I try something really fast?
Like, is it okay if I continue with
Go
something,
ahead. Go
Seth?
ahead.
Because yeah. So when you say there's something wrong about the question or the what it assumes or the context is asking, like, what are you saying the problem is? Are you saying there's a contradiction? Like, what's the problem?
No, I'm saying that that the determined results from the question, like this leads to that, this leads to that, does not necessitate that certain actions, when faced with certain circumstances, necessarily lead to the actions that you're proposing.
Okay,
That's my
wait,
contention.
I'm just a bit confused. Do you understand what my question is? Can you repeat it back to me so I'm sure that you understand what I'm trying to ask?
Okay, with regard to your button, and lying and eternal,
Yeah, the
uh,
lying question.
that one or the Nazi one? I wasn't quite sure which one you wanted to know about.
Yeah, the one about lying.
The lying and the, yeah. I mean, if you're asking me, like, if I lie to have eternal happiness, I mean, like, I
That's
would just
no, that's
reject.
not. I'm not asking you to answer it. I'm just asking if you can like just repeat the question back to me, because the question isn't can you lie to achieve eternal happiness or would you or
Oh, it
something.
wasn't. I actually thought
Not
it was.
quite, no.
It was like, if you lied and had eternal happiness, if you told the truth and had um um eternal suffering or something like that, would you
Yeah.
lie? Wasn't that the question?
Yes. Yeah. Well, yeah. I didn't say eternal happiness, but yeah. So the question is,
Well-being or whatever you said. I don't know
yeah,
what you
you
said.
have the right idea though. Yeah. So the idea is if you lie, then there's infinite well-being, and if you tell the truth, then there's infinite suffering. And in that situation, do you lie or do you tell the truth? All else is held constant.
Yeah, irrespective of whatever consequences you imagine, I am going to tell the truth.
Okay, so even if telling the truth causes just, galaxies of people to be like genocided, you would still just like tell the truth.
Right, because in my worldview, that's where it begins. And so, for example, if you're looking at some sort of, consequences, you use something like utilitarian or something like that. According to my worldview, without these considerations of whatever you're proposing, that's not even relevant to me at that point. It's like, shall we lie so that good may result, or condemnation is deserved? And so, in that sense, whatever you propose that leads to whatever you're saying, I would disregard and just be very simple to just consider what's being proposed. You have a choice. Do you lie? Do you tell the truth? And to me, it would just be that, according to my worldview, I tell the truth. Now, whatever consequence you want to fabricate is irrelevant to me. I would just begin there to tell the truth.
Yeah, like you can definitely just be consistent about it if you want to. If you can just hold to the principle and say that, yeah, you would tell the truth no matter what. I'm not really saying there's any issue. I think well, I didn't even come into this conversation. I think I just came in because at the start people were saying you held that view and I disbelieved it. But yeah, I mean, maybe you really are one of these people, just to make totally certain. So, like, if telling the truth, or sorry, if lying results in infinite baby eyeball stabbings, you
You
still,
mean if telling the truth?
no, if telling the truth, yeah, you can either lie or not. And in the case where you don't lie, infinite baby eyeball stabbing.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Do you lie or tell the truth?
Yeah, I don't even consider the consequences. I just tell the
Okay.
truth.
Yeah, no, that's a consistent position. I don't actually see the logical problem with it. I don't hold a view like that, but I don't think it's like wrong. I don't know if Danny had something to say. I don't have anything else to say.
No, he was kind of challenging the integrity of the hypothetical, but now he seems to be accepting the hypothetical and giving you an answer.
Yeah, so I guess like
But
maybe I
while
can kind of.
answering it, I reject the consequences as the necessary consequence. I mean,
Well, okay,
if
but
that
when you
makes sense.
I kind of skipped over all that kind of stuff to try to be really charitable because like it sounds like what I'm getting so far from John Lee is like John Lee is gonna bite some kind of crazy like moral bullets, but I don't know if he's gonna say like things that are actually like
Yeah,
illogical,
but I
like
wouldn't call it
irrational.
crazy. You're characterizing it as crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
all I mean by crazy is just like very undesirable to me. But there's a distinction between something like that and something that's actually like a logical error. You know what I mean?
he
Like there's difference between, sorry?
also
Do you consider
doesn't.
that morally,
If you ask him, ought you to lie in that scenario, he won't say he ought to. He doesn't believe in oughts.
I think he asked if I
Yeah, I mean,
find it reprehensible.
that's a whole separate
Like,
conversation about normatives and
well,
odds.
I do find it reprehensible if that's what you asked, but I was just saying there's just a distinction between making like a logical error, like a bad inference or something, or like contradicting yourself versus just like,
Being
having some desire that people are gonna, recoil at.
Yeah, there's a lot of recoiling in the John.
Right.
In
But
terms of
but
in terms
but
of
I'm okay with recoil.
Yeah, but some of the stuff you said did worry me a little logically. Like when you were saying something about the hypothetical and necessary entailments or something. I didn't say anything about necessary entailments. It was just in the hypothetical, it's just stipulated that like this is what happens if you lie, this is what happens if you don't. I don't think you see a problem with that, right?
No. And so like I said, the consequences that you laid out, I to be honest, I did not even consider, in a sense, that when given the choice of lying, irrespective of the consequence, I'm not going to. And if it's about telling the truth, irrespective of the consequences that you imagine now, that's the important part, I'm going to tell the
Can
truth.
you explain, wait, can you just explain when you say that, when you say the consequences I imagine, I do get a tiny bit worried when people say things like that, because at the start it just sounded like you were just kind of like wholeheartedly biting the bullet, like, yep, stab the babies. But now it sounds like maybe you don't think you're agreeing with that, and you're suggesting that that's just some entailment that's in my head that you're not agreeing to when you say that you wouldn't lie. So to be clear, lying in the situation we're talking about does result in infinite baby eye stabbing, right? In the case that that does happen, if you lie, you still don't lie, right?
Well, maybe I'll put it this way. I don't think that lying under any circumstances is justified.
So in the situation where, like, I mean, you signed off on this before, but it's just now you're saying things that make it sound like you don't actually accept the consequence of the view. Like, if lying causes infinite baby eyeball stabbing, or sorry, if not lying causes infinite baby eyeball stabbing, and lying causes infinite well-being, in that situation, do you lie or not?
Yeah, it's like I said, it's not a matter of not accepting the consequences. It's irrespective of.
Yeah, so, but in that situation, do you lie or do you not lie?
Well, like I said, I do not lie.
Right, so
Irrespective of the consequences. Not that I'm not accepting your scenario. Does that make
yeah,
sense?
that's what worries me, is when it sounds like you're saying, yeah, I never lie, but it's you make it sound like I'm adding something into the hypothetical that you're not signing off on when you say you'd never lie. So as long as you're clearly understanding that when you say you'd never lie, that includes a situation where lying causes infinite baby rape or something. As long as you understand that and you accept that, then I don't have, well, I don't have a I disagree with your values, but I don't see a logical problem. So do you accept that?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how much more I could say. Under any circumstances,
Yeah, but
I believe in telling the
maybe
truth.
there's a communication barrier, because the thing is, when you say a statement like under any circumstances alpha, right? And then someone says, okay, in circumstance A alpha, and you say under any circumstances alpha, right? Some people are just gonna be a bit curious, but like, wait, I just want you to acknowledge that the situation I just gave is, it's what it falls under the purview of what you're just talking about, right? So do you accept that that is one of those situations that you're committed to the given consequence in, right? So like, people are gonna want to hear a clear yes or no. They're not just going to want to hear a general answer.
Well,
So
I don't know how much clearer I could be for the sixth time now.
Yeah, yes
I
or
would
no,
tell
just
the
yes or
truth.
no.
well, yeah, right. So
There's no ambiguity there.
I think there isn't. I'm pretty sure, but just to be totally clear, yes or no answer to this. Lying, sorry, if not lying causes infinite baby rape, and lying causes infinite well-being, do you lie? Yes or no?
Well, I would choose to not lie.
Okay, all right, yeah, that's a clear answer. Okay, I don't have any problem with that.
Now,
I appreciate that you didn't express like moral outrage and start to berate me and belittle
well, he's doing
me,
an analysis of the
call me
logic.
names. This is actually mature of you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, here's the next question, John Lee. So, when is the last time that you lied?
Wow. I can't remember.
White lies
It
count
might be
too.
it could be months. I don't know.
Oh, so months. Okay, that recent. Okay.
Wow.
And let's see. Do you remember what the lie was, John?
No, I don't even remember what the lie was.
So, okay, so the lie was, I'm going to assume, so insignificant that you don't even remember what it was. And yet, when it happened, when a situation arose, even though you say irrespective of consequences, you choose not to lie. In this situation, you lied. And I'm guessing that the stakes in this situation were not as high as infinite baby rape.
Good point.
Yeah, so what the fuck explains that, John Lee, you piece of shit?
Yeah, in that scenario, I obviously cared about something more to protect that was not worth protecting. That at the time I felt pressured to, protect that which is not worthy of protection, and I lied.
Do you think infinite babies are worth protecting?
Your ego, John.
Actually, these are good points, Tom. But I'm just I believe that you tell the truth, and like I said, Tom, I don't remember, but whatever it was, I certainly looked at it and said, why would you need to lie about this? So I did some personal introspection, what I always do. It's almost like a reflex. It's not like I even think about lying. It's just like I'm in a situation that's presented to me, and right then and there, rather than tell the truth, for whatever reason, I want to conceal something, and that tells me something's wrong here. And to me, that's always been helpful.
Yeah. So ask yourself, so what do you make of that?
That I would lie there, but in ask yourselves hypothetical, that I would say that I would not lie, right?
When the
That's what you're
stakes
asking,
are
right?
when the stakes are the highest possible, right? The most egregious consequences, you choose without even a second thought, I won't lie. But when you were like fucking in line at fucking, In and Out or something, and you like said you ordered the animal fries when you didn't or some bullshit, you chose to lie without a second thought. So what the fuck is the explanation there? Ask yourself, what do you think of that?
I think I can answer that. In the question that you asked, it was a real life situation, and maybe because ask me a question that was sort of like it's not real. It's just a thought experiment. I answered in that manner. Would that be an acceptable answer?
No, because when you were asked about, the attic, that's something that kind of happened. So you could have taken that and like answered in a way that would have been a little bit more honest, and you still said no.
Yeah, so why the fuck should ask yourself believe you when you say irrespective of the consequences, you're not gonna lie? Because if I were to ask yourself, I would feel like you just fucking drove me around the block a few times and you're full of shit.
Yeah, well, you're entitled to that view, and I'm not asking people to believe me, or I could really care less about what you think. And I think that what I told you, I mean, it was a hypothetical in a sense. In real life, would I act according to my hypothetical? Who knows? I mean, but I don't even recognize a hypothetical to be realistic anyway. And so that has a major impact on my answers as well.
It doesn't even really matter because you said irrespective on the consequences. So any like real life scenario that would exist, and they can get pretty bad, John, right? These are actual scenarios that could happen, right? And they're not just some fantasy world, right? It doesn't even matter. You're saying that you would still not lie.
Yeah. So if you're saying, if first and foremost I'm lying, if I'm lying, there's some sort of inconsistency in my own standard. And so, listen, if I'm not consistent with my own standard, that makes me, I mean, by lying, I mean, that's already a violation to begin with. So
no, I don't think you're
just lets me
lying.
know I'm
I
not
just don't.
perfect.
I just like question whether or not you're even an agent. Like I think that you are like an advanced prototype, speak and spell level. All you are is an upgraded Tamagotchi in your dome.
I'll tell
That
you what.
cranium you have.
I'll tell you what. You can take your complaints to the corporate office of John Lee LLC. Okay.
Yeah,
John, your wife's in the cupboard, and do you tell the Nazi she's there? Do you lie, or do you let her get shot?
Infinitely many
what
times.
was the Roy Montero response? She'll go to heaven a little bit faster, Richard.
No, she does. She doesn't go to heaven. She gets trapped perpetually
That's
in
where
the
we
earthly
differ,
plane,
John.
being tortured.
You don't sell out your family for no government anywhere.
Okay,
Period.
John, I got one other for you, which is,
Yeah,
do you
here's
make?
the issue, Richard.
Wait. Ask yourself. It's got something for you. Go,
Listen, your whole
Go,
life.
Isaac.
No, don't
Let
don't
Isaac
look,
say something.
Richard. Stop.
I mean, I was gonna go in
John,
a
go
totally different
ahead.
direction. I was gonna ask John if he has like arguments for Christianity.
Oh,
Yeah,
yo.
listen. I stopped making arguments for like God. I don't know, maybe 8 years ago, something like that.